Hi everybody, it's Jessica from Chambray Blues. We are finishing up our quilt by hand stitching the binding closed on the back of the quilt. We have previously stitched the binding to the quilt top on the front, and now we're turning it over to the back and slip stitching it closed on the back. So this is what you can do. You thread your needle. I have been using a double piece of just all-purpose thread. For this you can use quilting thread if you have it. And you're just going to go underneath the fold and pick up part of the quilt fabric and then part of the binding fabric and push your needle through. And you're going to repeat that about every 1/4 inch. Same thing. You don't want to push it so hard so that it comes through the front. You don't want to see anything on the front. It's just on the back that you'll see this detail, and it pretty much disappears along the binding of the quilt. So you're going to continue to do this all the way around the quilt. You can see I've done a lot of it. It takes some time. I won't lie, it takes some time. And there's a different technique we'll do at the corner. I'll show you how that works here. If you'd like to, you can put some pins in there to hold it in place while you're stitching. So I'm working my way up the side, and I previously trimmed my fabric to 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now I'm folding this over the seam, and I'm going to put a couple pins in here to show you how the corner works. You can miter your edges at the corner, but that's a little bit more complicated, and I find that beginner sewers struggle with that, and it's just easier to do it this way. So I have sewed my binding all the way to the end of the piece, and then I came with another piece of binding and went the other direction. And I have this little flap here, and you can trim it a bit. Probably trim another 1/4 inch off of there just to make it easier to work with. But I'm just going to turn it under and then fold down the top so that you get a nice square corner, and you can put a pin in there to hold it. So when I'm hand stitching, then I'll stitch all the way to the corner, and I'll include this little bit. See how there's just a tiny little fold there that kind of sticks out? If you hand stitch that together with the same method I just showed you, and then continue on to the top edge of the quilt, you will not see any of those stitches on the other side, and you get a nice square looking corner. So that's it. The quilt is pretty much done. You can see more tutorials on my website, chambrayblues.com. Thanks, have a great day.